The song we're learning this week is a basic nursery rhyme. It's called Mary Had a Little Lamb, and it's literally the only song I could find that uses those three notes that we've learned, C, D and E. So I could have made something up for you to follow, but I figured if you knew the melody already, this would really help you follow the song. Now it will be tempting to play it just from memory, but I don't want you to do this. The whole point of this exercise isn't to learn a nursery rhyme to play, it's to get your brain used to seeing them notes on the stave and then playing them on the piano. Because the more you do it, the more you'll get used to it, and then naturally later on it will be easier for you to find them notes. So stick with me, let's take a look at learning our first song using sight reading. So now we're going to learn Mary Had a Little Lamb, because it's a very easy nursery rhyme that hopefully most of you know, and it uses the three notes we've just learned: middle C, D and E. So this piece of music is made up of 4 lines of music, and each line has 2 bars in it. Can call it a measure, but for this course I'll call it a bar, which is a bit more common. And each bar has 4 beats. So looking at that first bar in line 1, you can see that the first note is on the very bottom line of the stave. And as we've just learned, that's an E. And you need to remember your fingering positions here from your mini scale. So our number 1 thumb will be on the C, our index finger will be on the D, and then the middle finger will be on the E. So this is where we start, with our middle finger on the E. Now the next note on the sheet music, as you can see, comes down to the space below that bottom line, and that is a D. So on the piano, we're also going to come down 1 note to the D. And then the third note on the sheet music comes down 1 note again to the middle C. So on the piano, we come down 1 note to the middle C. And then on the sheet music, we're going to be coming up a note to that space, which is the D. So we come up a note on the piano. So this is what we want to do. We just want to follow the sheet music. Are we going up or are we going down? So this first bar will sound like this. And hopefully you can start to hear the melody. And really good practice here is to count along with the melody, because this will help you when counting rhythm later on. So it's 4 beats, we'll count the 4 beats. 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, and then we move on to the next bar, and the best thing we can do is keep our finger pressed down on the note while we look at the next bar, because that way we don't lose our place. Now the next bar is actually very simple because it's got 3 of the same notes, and you can see that we're going up in the sheet music back to that bottom line of the stave, which is the E. So we come up to the E, we're going to be hitting it 3 times, but we do have different note durations here. So the first 2 are quarter notes, 1 beat each, and the third one is a half note. So we'll be holding that for 2 beats. So if I play the top line all together, it would sound like this. And if I do that while counting the rhythm, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, so then we can move on to line 2. And it's nice and easy because we're just repeating the same notes. Now on line 2, you can see that we've come down to the space below that bottom line. So this is the D. So we move down to the D and we're hitting this 3 times. And holding that third D for 2 beats. And then in the second bar of line 2, we move back up to that bottom line of the stave, which is E. So if I now play lines 1 and 2 together while counting, it would sound like this. 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. So then we're ready to move on to line 3, and this is super simple because it's exactly the same as line 1. So then we just have the very end of the piece, so this is line 4. The first bar, we're going to be coming down to the D. We've got 2 notes on the D. We then come up to the E. We then come down to the D. And then on that very last bar, we have middle C. And remember, that's a whole note. So we're going to hold that down for 4 beats. So if I play this line 4, while counting, starting on the D, it would sound like this. 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. So let's start this from the very beginning and play all the way through to the end while counting. 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. And it is good practice to count, but do play without as well so you can hear that rhythm. Okay, so your first song learned by sight reading. Now, all of my students, when they first start, and especially when learning something so basic, they will just memorize it. And then what they'll do is look to their fingers to see what they're doing. And it's really important that you try not to do this. As I said at the start, we need our eyes to be looking at the notes. So if you get your fingers into the right position, you shouldn't really have to look down at them. If you can keep them in their spots, then you should be able to just follow the music with your eyes. If you do get lost, look down, put your fingers in the right place. You could even push down the first note so you're ready to go, but then look back at the sheet music and follow the notes with your eyes as you play. But have some fun with it. I know it's just a basic nursery rhyme, but if we can get this going really well and you can start to remember where these notes are, it will really help you in later lessons when we get into things that are a bit more juicy. So happy practicing this week. You've got your scales practice, you've got your song practice, and you've got your practice plan for your exercise as well. So you've got 5 different exercises for each day of the week, should you wish. I hope you enjoyed the lesson, and I look forward to seeing you in lesson 4.